Let us now look at questions pertaining to directions. These questions are based on a path of motion. So when you move, you basically cover a certain distance in a certain direction. If you take a turn, you change a direction and you cover some other distance. These questions in the reasoning section of the IBPS cover basically that. This is a very common type of question, and about one or two directions questions are generally always asked in the reasoning section. But why do banks ask you these questions? These questions are asked in the IBPS exam in order to test whether you think sequentially. The structure of the question is as follows. A path of motion will be described to you. You might have to ascertain the final location or the final distance covered. There will be multiple choices provided, 5 of them, and you will have to choose the correct answer from amongst those 5. The directions questions can be solved in 3 simple steps. Step 1 is to always draw a diagram for the path. Step 2 is from this diagram get an idea of what you have to calculate and then calculate it. And step 3 is to accordingly choose the right answer. Let us look at how to solve directions questions with the help of an example. Tanvi starts from her house, drives 4 kilometers west, then she takes a right turn and drives for 3 kilometers. The question is, how many kilometers away from her house is she now? Step 1, remember, is to draw a diagram for the path. She starts at her house, drives 4 kilometers west, turns right and drives 3 kilometers. And that is the end of her trip. You have to find the total distance covered from start to finish. Now that you know that the distance from start to finish is what you have to calculate, let us go ahead and calculate that in step 2. Assume that distance is x. Then, using Pythagoras theorem, x square equal to 3 square plus 4 square, which gives us x equal to 5. We then choose the correct answer, that is D. Let us now look at some tips and shortcuts for solving directions questions. Shortcut number 1 is to understand right and left. If you're facing north and you take a right turn, you end up facing east. Similarly, if you're facing north and take a left turn, you end up facing west. This can be extended to the other directions as well. Right turn from east is a south, a left turn from east is north, a right turn from south is west, a left turn from south is east, a right turn from the west is north, and the left turn from the west is the south. If you memorize all of this will enable you to do some amount of mental calculation with regards to final direction. It will help you figure out the final position or direction that the person is facing without actually having to draw a diagram. The second shortcut is the Pythagoras theorem. If there is a right angled triangle with the two perpendicular sides A and B, then the hypotenuse C satisfies the Pythagoras theorem, which is basically C square is equal to A square plus B square. The Pythagoras theorem is extensively used in directions questions for calculating total distance travelled or final displacement. You must be familiar with this theorem and know how to use it correctly.